Steel, Ambrose, and Milos choose to stand and fight against the monster Zod. They know that reinforcements will arrive soon. Zod's hide is thick, and the Hawks' mundane weapons do little. And yet, they are wounding the beast. Could this still be a victory? A crossbow volley rains down on Zod. Stuvert has returned with Pippin, 8 Hawks of the vanguard, and Griffith himself. Some of the men waver in fear, but Griffith takes only a second of hesitation before charging in at Milos' side. Zod is ready to decimate the rabble, but once more Milos and Steel cut his wings to hold him back. Milos shouts in the Cliffin tongue, "Do you know, Wild?" Zod, amused, replies, "Ah, so you learn the speech of demonkind? What an interesting fight! And yes, that name and many others are known to me." Milos and Griffith are both dealt grievous wounds from the bellowing beast. Mirka has been on the edge of death, pondering the state of his egg. With a spin of his Urumi, he summons an otherworldly power to teleport away, and right on top of Zod's head. Let us finish this somewhere else. Milos is confused by what just happened, but has a clear enough head to ready a rope and grappling hook to rescue Mirka if needed. Zod is keen to hear the words of the first man in the room to challenge him. He launches himself upward to the siege-battered ceiling. In midair, he grabs Mirka and tosses him upward. "Oh no," whispers Steel as he realizes what is to come. As Mirka falls, Zod twists his form to brandish his great horns. Mirka is impaled through the chest. In that moment of despair, something changes. Mirka's blood flows like a fountain, and the blood congeals into a dome-like chamber, trapping all of the Hawks within. Mirka's body falls from Zod's horns, and upon landing, gets to his knees. Some magic holds Mirka in a state of unlife. 4 figures emerge from the chamber of viscera. Ambrose and Milos recall the information from their studies to identify the 4 angels. Conrad, known as the Grave Watcher, Ubik, the Guiding Light, Slan, Mother Nature, and the Archangel, Void. The figures laugh and toy with the mortals in their realm, which Void announces as the Interstice. Zod bows to the beings and rumbles to Steel that he wishes their fight could have gone on. The 4 angels ask Mirka if he is ready for death, or if he prefers to make a sacrifice. Griffith silently takes in everything around him, staring at his own crimson egg. Ambrose tries to call on him to lead, only to feel the commander shaking in his armor. Mirka whispers an apology to the other infiltrators, telling them to leave if they can. He never cared much for the party that dragged him around for infiltration missions, but the men of the band, who always listened to his tales and showered him with praise and coin, those he cared for. He is ready for the sacrifice. Raucous laughter and terrible howls come from a pit in the interstice. Whatever these new monsters are, they grow closer. Zod readies his wings and soars upwards towards an emerging hole in the dome. In a moment of inspiration, Milos tosses his grappling hook and lodges it in the beast's leg. Steel and Milos clasp hands as they are hoisted into the air. Ambrose looks to do the same, but Griffith still falters. Ambrose makes the decision to stay wherever Griffith is, as he has done now for years. In that moment, Mirka sends a magical message to Griffith. "How could I tell you how I did it if you are not alive?" With that, Griffith chooses life. He grabs onto the rope trailing behind Zod, and in the other hand grabs Ambrose. As the 4 fly away from the interstice, they see red-hot brands fly from the walls and onto those left behind. Monsters emerge from the pit to surround the screaming Hawks. Zod returns with Milos, Steel, Ambrose, and Griffith back at the Citadel. No one is keen to fight, and Zod looks ready to leave. He sees the crimson egg around Griffith's neck. "A shame our fight was ruined," roars the beast as he departs. "But be warned, warriors, When that one's ambition fails, you will be faced with your death, a death you can never escape. When the dust has settled and the group comes to terms with what they have witnessed, Steele is the first to move. "You said one more siege, Griffith," he says as he walks away. Milos and Ambrose say nothing. They knew the day would come when their companion would leave the band. Why not today? But Griffith regains his composure and says, "No, I have lost too much today," thinking of Pippin, Stuvert, Gaston, and the other hawks left in that terrible place. Ambrose, Milos, seize him. Milos doesn't move, but Ambrose is true to Griffith's command. He reaches out to pull Steele back. Steele turns. Just like in the tournament, he downs Ambrose in one blow. But this time, the sword is sharp. Ambrose is dying with a terrible wound from collar to hip. Steele continues walking away, and he doesn't look back as he tosses back the last of the group's pixie dust. "If you want to stop me, Griffith, do it yourself." Griffith falls to Ambrose's side and administers the healing dust. Milos runs to catch up to Steele. Milos wonders if he might leave as well after what they all just experienced. He reveals that his brother died in the war years ago, and Milos turned to the Band of the Hawks so that he could take care of his brother's wife and child. He has plenty of money for them now, so why not leave? Steele has no answer for him, and only Milos may make that choice for himself. For whatever reason, Milos doesn't leave just yet. Ambrose knows that he will stay. He is mindful of the thing around Griffith's neck and of his faltering when confronted with the interstice. He will need guidance during this time. Maybe, with the right friends, Griffith's story can turn out differently than Mercus.